Next on Belmont Park Live, multiple stakes winner McKagan makes a huge drop in class, seeking his first win in over a year for Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott. Cluntia, already a winner at today's condition, moves to a new barn. Can the switch coax a better effort out of him in his second start of the year? And Midnight Bijou has a new barn as the beaten Kentucky Oaks favorite. Gears up for the Mother Goose on Saturday. We'll preview that race coming up this weekend on the show. That and a lot more ahead as we start a new week of racing action here on Belmont Park Live. It's presented by Clairborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Welcome to Wednesday action here on MSG Plus. Nice crowd on hand enjoying racing as we get set for the start of the late pick 4 sequence ahead. We're about 12 minutes to post. Usual cast and crew is here. I'm Greg Wolf, joined by former New York Met, LA Dodger, Paul LaDuca, New York Racing Association handicapper, Andy Serling. This 8th race, intriguing today. McKagan, we talked about in the opening, Cluntia as well. Some new shooters who are kind of stepping into the limelight. Some big efforts last time out, but McKagan tackling a lot easier than what he's used to seeing. Well,
that is true, but the dynamics of the race is very, very interesting. There's a ton of speed in the race, and you got to wonder what's going to happen early, because I think that's going to affect what's going to happen late.
And I think something we've seen that's unusual today on the inner turf course, and only the 8th race day will be on the inner turf course, the rails are well out, 35 feet as far as they go. And so far, the 2 inner turf races, horses with outside runs on the far outside have been the best horse in the race, and that could help Gucci factor on the outside.
Yeah, whose only turf start, well, second turf start, I should say, was a very convincing victory. Can that one continue to move forward? We will find out. That is race 8 this afternoon. Part of the 4 races we're going to be bringing you. Again, race 6 will kick off the pick 4 sequence, and we have youngsters, 2-year-olds, many of them making their first ever start here, coming up to kick things off, going 5 furlongs. That 7th race, mile on the turf. That 8th race we talked about with McKagan and Cluntia, and race 9 will close things out, a mile on the turf. New York Bred's $40,000 maiden claiming event coming up. So that is the sequence. Weather and track conditions brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, pests gone. Main track fast. Turf course is firm. As we get set for race 6, and here's a look at the field, and Bank It taking a lot of attention here. First timer by Central Banker, who stands for $7,500. This horse sold at the sale for $260,000.
That's a lot of money. I'm a big fan of Central Banker. I'm rooting for this one.
Right now, favored for the Steve Asmussen barn, owned by Winchell Thoroughbreds. Irad Ortiz Jr. will be aboard. Todd Pletcher with a first timer in this group as well at 3-1, who we're looking at right now.
It's interesting looking at these horses, Paul. I mean, there's nobody that's taking a definitive amount of money, and you've got the 1 for Todd Pletcher, the 2 for Steve Asmussen, and Mark Hennig, who's been very hot with Firsters, has the 4 burning through gold, and then Odie the 5 with experience in the dirt for Wesley Ward. None of these horses have really separated themselves on the board.
No, they've all run good races, the horses that have run, and the horses that haven't run are all with good trainers.
We also have Maggie Wolfendale with us. Time for a Paddock Report. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000. Maggie?
Hey, Greg, thanks. And we'll take a look at these 2-year-olds here. It's always fun. And at least we have a 2-year-old race on our show today to start things off, beginning with the inside runner. That is number 1, Lexitonian, for trainer Todd Pletcher. Now, usually Todd's horses, they do take a lot of money. And the one thing I can say about this horse in the face of the others in here, he does look like a sprinter. But with that being said, he's a bit on the smaller, kind of backward side. But he does come in here very fit. We'll see. His competition, i.e. the 2 and the 4, they're a little more impressive than he. And we'll take a look at number 2, Bank It. Love this guy's work. 10 and 2. The only thing is he might want to go longer. He had a very fluid, efficient stride, despite being a son of Central Banker in here. Maybe that influence will pull through here, but a big, good-looking 2-year-old colt, and I like what I'm seeing for this Steve Asmussen trainee. Now, number 4 is Burning Through Gold, another one that worked 21 and 2 this time, though, at the Fasig-Tipton, Florida sale. And just because he was under so much urging, he looked as though his legs were going everywhere. He looks like a horse that's going to take a while to get into stride. I like him. I just don't know if 5 furlongs here at first asking as a 2-year-old is going to be to his liking. Greg?
Maggie, thank you. You see that pick 4 pool, 138,000 plus and growing. Here's a look at Bank Out. This was at the OBS March sale, went 10 and 2. And there's some high expectations for this horse first time out.
I mean, that's a lot of money, $260,000, given the pedigree of First Foal, more of a turf dam that really wasn't that good. Central Banker, his first crop, an unproven sire. It's a lot of money, all things considered, for this horse.
Yeah, 2 bullet drills at 2 different racetracks.
And right now, the 9-5 favorite. We'll see him in a moment. We start with Lexitonian, the son of Speightstown, for trainer Todd Pletcher with John Velasquez.
A homebred for Calumet Farm. First foal from the dam. The second dam was a nice runner for Alan Jerkins.
Here's the one we've been talking about. We showed you the work at the sale. Bank It, son of Central Banker, trained by Steve Asmussen.
He looks to be quick, and this colt that they spent a lot of money for is taking the action and is your lowest will pay in the doubles at 9-5.
Olympic Express, a first-timer by a Fleet Express trained by Danny Gargan.
Not a lot to say about the pedigree here, and taking no money whatsoever.
Burnin' Through Gold, we will see here in a moment. There's the 4. This was the morning line favorite. Javier Castellano aboard for Mark Hennig.
I mean, the drills don't get more consistent than this colt by Bernardini, and 3-1 off a 9-5 morning line.
Wesley Ward runner making career start number 3, and it's turf back to dirt today for Odie with Joel Rosario.
Based on his 2 races, he's clearly a better dirt horse, and I think he ran well enough that if the firsters can't run, he's the horse to beat.
And Gump on the outside, making his second start for Rudy Rodriguez. Didn't take much money in that debut on a sloppy track.
No, he didn't, but he got an education, even though he was inside for a little while, and I think he can improve here. He's not the worst 9-1 shot, but he has to improve a couple lengths to beat these.
That's your field for race 6. It kicks off again the late pick 4. You can get involved by getting signed up and started with Naira Bets. $200 new member sign-up bonus is going on now. If you use the promo code LIVE, bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to nairabets.com, get involved. How are you going to play the pick 4, Paul?
Well, listen, the last race, there's a horse in there that's going to be a heavy favorite called Grand Bank. So I'm going to go 1-2-5 in here. Try to get out of this race. 2-3-6 in race number 7. I think Sardonyx could be a vulnerable favorite in race number 7. Race 8, I'm going to try to get my price. Race 9, I just think Fancy Case, the 2, is the only one that can beat Grand Bakes, and I think that's gate to wire fashion. I think it's the only way that the 4 gets beat in the last. 4-5 on the morning line. I think she finally runs in the field. If she doesn't win that last race, I don't know if she'll ever win.
All right, we will get there eventually. Right now, look at the Wesley Ward runner. Here's Odie. This is her 3rd start. So she debuted at Keeneland all the way out in post 12.
Well, it's a strange race at Keeneland because they run at a part of the course they really don't run other races on, where they come out of a chute. It's almost like it's all a turn. And she got good positions, so I don't think she was compromised particularly by her post. Shockingly, she lost to another Wesley Ward horse.
Right?
Or he did, excuse me.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Look how clear he is of the 2nd place finisher, and he ran a great race. The other Wesley Ward was just on the inside. He did all the dirty work to get to his neck, and then the other horse sort of took off on him. You could argue they were about the same that day, but the public sees that clunker last time, and that's why this horse was 8-1 on the morning line, but now 5-2.
Well, the reason that Wesley Ward probably ran this horse in the turf last time was he was trying to figure out horses to bring to Royal Ascot.
Yeah.
And he's going to pretty much run in any turf 2-year-old race he can find because there aren't that many this early in the year. And he's thinking, I want to bring an army of horses over there. Let's see if Odie's better in the turf. He found out that he's not, and he's going back to the right surface. How good he really is overall, that's debatable, but the board isn't saying, hey, the firsters are killers.
Here's $150,000 son of Bernardini, trained by Mark Hennig. First time out. We'll have Javier Castellano aboard. 3-1.
I mean, you can't argue with the horse's work, right? Every 7 days, right on the book, 48-2, 48. Just like, I mean, like a trained machine. I mean, the horse is training great in the morning. Mark Hennig's having a great meet. This horse debuts with Lasix. Got a win early pedigree on the bottom side, seeking the goal, one of the better win early pedigrees around. Listen, this horse was 9-5 on the line, not really getting bet, but listen.
It's early.
It's early, and there's other first-time starters in here you really don't know, but obviously has the pedigree to win the race.
He does, and Mark Hennig's been just dynamite with his first-time starters in 2018. But as Maggie pointed out, this may be a horse that just wants more distance. Now, they're all going 5 the first time, and a good horse that's a router, they'll win their first start sometimes, but it takes a really good horse.
Meanwhile, here's the horse who has been favored throughout here. Bank It. Steve Asmussen, Winchell Thoroughbreds. Again, Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard. And some flashy drills from this one as well, both here in New York and at Keeneland.
I would think this is the horse you're going to have to catch. You can even tell by his stature, he's a little smaller. The horses look like a quick little bullet. And listen, when you're working 46-3, breezing from the gate at Keeneland, then you come over here to the training track and you throw a bullet in here, I would think this son of Central Banker, especially what they paid for him, has got to be a bullet out of the gate.
You know, I don't know. I just don't know what to expect. I mean, you would think with first-time stars and they're live, they usually are, but I just sort of have no way of knowing at this point. But the horse is the only one taking money, but none of these firsters are really getting bet strong, and that's why the 5 is such a short price here, right?
With more on Odie, the 5 for Wesley Ward, let's go to Maggie.
And I like the 5 here, guys. I was suspect in him handling the turf, and I actually caught up with Wesley Ward, who is back here today as well. Hopefully stayed over the dark days. But talking about Odie with him, if you notice, he's a May foal. He's very late. It's an interesting story about the mare that he had. The mare actually broke her stifle, and Wesley and his guys, every other vet said this horse has to unfortunately put down, but old Dr. Cheney, old Kentuckian guy who comes up to Saratoga every year, said, no, we can save her. And they would literally pick her up every day for her to eat, 3 times a day for her to eat. And finally, she got better. She overcame it, which is remarkable within its own right. And Wesley wanted to send this horse over to Ireland to be bred, or excuse me, over to Coolmore, I should say, in Kentucky, to be bred to Scat Daddy, so on and so forth. Wesley said, no, she's fine. And finally, they got her in full, which was a little bit late. And so there, hence the name Odie as the nickname for Dr. Cheney. And he says there's just absolutely no way this, he was wrong about this horse and trying the turf, and he's come back with a monster breeze. Wesley really liked his breeze on the dirt after that turf race. So I think he's back on the right surface here today, guys. And maybe that's why he's taking so much money.
Now, right now, he has become the second choice here, Odie the 5.
So he's not named for Garfield's pal.
No, he's not.
So that's, at least that mystery has been solved.
Who is the dog, one of my favorite dogs of all time?
I know you're a huge Garfield fan, Paul.
I am.
You have Garfield cheats.
Hey, Odie,
it's all about Garfield.
Odie was all about happiness. But listen,
we're all about
here, the 6th Gump. I mean, what do you do at his first start? I know it was against Weaker, but he did show a little bit of guts. I mean, hanging in for a little bit.
He's 9-1, and he's got experience, and the firsters are the 2 aren't taking any money. I don't think he's totally impossible. He lost to a Todd Pletcher horse, Outshine, that did not run particularly well in his subsequent start, but still, he's not impossible.
He ran second. He beat 4 horses in his debut.
Yeah, right?
Sloppy track. He might like a fast track even better. He has experience. A lot of these don't.
He didn't run so much worse than Odie did. I mean, he ran a similar race to Odie's first start. I don't really like him, but if somebody said, I'll take 6-1 or 9-1, have at it.
Listen, Rudy's very sharp. If you look at the works after the race, he did nothing with this horse. They're all slow. So he thinks the Gump is in perfect condition because they're very, very slow and probably works to just get more fitness into him.
Back to Lexitonian here for Todd Pletcher. We know how dangerous he is first time out with his 2-year-olds. Lasix for the son of Speightstown.
Break's going to mean a lot here for
that horse just took a pop from 7-2 to 5-2.
Listen, Todd wins with these type of horses, and Johnny V's aboard. This one for Calumet. The break's going to mean a lot. We'll see who's quicker, the 1 or 2. That's going to make a difference. About, first quarter mile of this race between the 1 or 2 who gets to the top is going to, I think, going to determine the outcome.
Down to 8-5 now on Bankit, the son of Central Banker. Again, the sire stands for just $7,500. They purchased this horse for $260,000. So he must have looked real, real good during that OBS sale. We are set. It's the start of the late pick 4 here on Belmont Park Live. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown for the call, Larry Colmus.
Just one left to load here, and that would be Gump. Junior Alvarado, the first 5 standing well in the starting gate. Gump being a little bit resistant here.
Yeah,
as the assistant starters work on getting him to go in. And it looks like he's in there now. Ready for the start. They're all in line. They're off. Bankit with a sharp start. Odie away running in second on the outside. And then it's Burning Through Gold, Lexitonian down toward the rail, Olympic Express, and Gump. They make their way into the turn, and Bankit is in front. Pressed along by Odie on the outside, who's a neck back, second by 2. Burning Through Gold tracks them. Olympic Express splits horses and Lexitonians down on the inside. The first 5 tightly packed around the turn and well clear of the trailer. Gump past a 22.42 quarter. Bankit on the inside. Burning Through Gold on the far outside. And between those two, it's Odie. There's running room for Lexitonian, who's squeezing through an opening on the inside of Bankit. And on the far outside, Olympic Express is running on 2. Wide open inside the final furlong. It is Bankit in front. On the inside, Lexitonian comes on through. Burning Through Gold. And on the far outside, Olympic Express. Lexitonian up the rail. Lexitonian and John Velasquez get it done by a length on the wire. Tight second there. Burning Through Gold or Bankit, then Olympic Express.
Lexitonian gets the job done. Todd Pletcher, first time out with John Velasquez.
Shortest route to the winner's circle, right up the fence. Lexitonian, rated behind horses. Professional victory for this first over.
Yeah, it really was a professional victory. You can see Irene Ortiz. The two's just getting a little bit tired off the rail, and the one's just going to sneak right up the rail. And those Calumet Silks and Johnny V just never left. I'll tell you what, the 3 Olympic Express had the worst of it. He was 4 wide most of the way. He looked like he was going to win the race.
Ran a very good effort.
He ran a great effort at the price.
Dead heat for second and real tight.
I'm going to say that I'm going to go out 11, so the 2 got second.
Okay.
It's my call.
Very close.
This was they were evenly matched on the board. And it's funny, you know, none of the firsters was bet that strongly. And they sort of ran like, ooh, the one came out a little bit.
Came out a little bit on Bankit. Hold on.
That was late. I wonder if the 2 holds on for second, it might have cost maybe the 4 or the 3 a placing.
Can we see that head on again?
I'd like to see
the
head
on one more time.
I'm looking at the pan view on the other side. I want to see how really close it was for second, because if the 2 does
it was
hang
close.
on, it could cost a placing, because the 2 rider did have to sort of stop.
Here it is. Let's take a look
Keep your
at
eyes on the horse on the inside. Getting crowded a little? No.
Not really. No, he did come out into him. He forced him out.
What do you think?
I don't know.
It's a close call.
That's like one of those 3-point fouls that James Harden gets when he just throws up his thing in the air. A little ticky-tack. But, listen, I'm sure they're looking at it.
All right, so we will keep you posted unofficially. Lexitonian, first time out. And 3-1 here to kick off the late pick 4. We'll be back. Quick break. More coming up on Belmont Park Live, including a look ahead to the Mother Goose. Field drawn. We'll have that for you coming up. Midnight Bijou, My Miss Lily, 2 of the contenders. Stay tuned.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include multiple graded stakes performer Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, and stakes winners He Hate Me and Sunset Ridge. In the ring, his yearlings have commanded prices up to $220,000. Algorithms, standing at Clairborne Farm. His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Clairborne Farm.
You're watching Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus. Great to have you with us on this Wednesday afternoon. You can play along for free as you watch the action by going to Belmont Showdown. Visit naira.com/showdown to enter your picks in the online contest. You can watch your name climb the leaderboard as you compete for real prizes each and every day. And if you're at the top at the end, you can earn Naira points that equal money in your account. Here's the one Lexingtonian winner of race 6, despite a little bit of bump in there in the stretch.
Yeah, not sure why there isn't a claim of foul. I don't know why Ryder Toys would at least take a chance. Not saying the one should come down. Seems sort of surprising. He was clearly bumped. It's interesting. Todd Pletcher is now one with 2 straight 2-year-old first-time starters, and they've both been homebreds. One was from owner Barry Schwartz, an impressive winner here the other day, and then this one, Lexingtonian. Normally, they're horses that are purchased at auction, but these were homebreds, and they both ran well.
Yeah, congratulations to Calumet Farm. As you can see, the pan view, watch right here on the rider on the 2. To me, if the 2 gets past here, there might have been something, but the rider of the 2 rode his horse out.
Why not claim, though?
I get it, but he was never winning the race. I think the other riders would have had to if they cost themselves position. But congratulations to the son of Spites down in the Tappet Mare, Riviera Romper.
Let's head downstairs. Maggie Wolfendale standing by with a Hall of Fame rider.
Always nice to stand next to a Hall of Fame rider, Greg. As Johnny Lexingtonian, he snuck up the rail. Now, was he that professional that he just gave you that feeling that he could just handle that?
That's very funny because when I took him all the way around the wrong way, galloped into the gate, he looks really, really green. Yeah. And then once he was in the gate, he kind of rocking back and forth from the gate, and I knew he was not going to break well enough because he just kept doing it back and forth. Finally, when the door was open, he kind of stumbled a little bit. Obviously, the speed went. And I got him right behind the horses, and he seemed like he was very professional, though. You know, it's like I was really surprised. Then we got so close to them and around the 3/8 pole, and I had to take a little hold of him. And I was like, well, hopefully I don't take him away now. What I was doing pretty easy. And when I asked him again, he responded right away, and I was like, wow, very professional. Not the one that they weren't the way I thought going the wrong way. By the way, coming back this way, he did it the same way. So he's still learning, but in the race, it's the most important thing that he was very professional.
I was going to say, were you really that surprised, though? Because you ride a lot of these first-time starting two-year-olds for Todd Pletcher. I mean, just the job he does, he has him prepared for what to expect in a race.
Well, this one definitely was prepared. And actually, he was better following somebody. It was actually in the sky that he didn't break really well. And he followed somebody. He was really professional right behind the horses. And as soon as he took the lead, he started waiting, though. You know, he started waiting. I kind of waved him the whip at him to make sure I keep his mind running. And the gallop out, the other horse came to him. And he kept continuing galloping out with the other horse. So it was very nice.
Well, congratulations. Job well done. Very nice ride by you.
Thank you.
All right, Greg.
Maggie, thanks. So Lexingtonian gets the job done. First time out. And we're underway here in our pick 4 sequence. That man has won a lot of races in his career.
Yeah, he really has. And a good ride by him. Lexingtonian paid $8.30. And if you had that pick 3 before you joined us, you get $15. Take that 60 cents and just hold on to it.
In your Naira Bets account, what else are you going to do with it?
We'll set up race 7 for you in a moment. Coming up this weekend, we have the Mother Goose for 3-year-old fillies. And Midnight Bijou, who was favored in the Kentucky Derby, ran 3rd behind Monomoy Girl. And Wonder Godot switching barns, getting set to run this weekend. Used to be with Bill Spar, now moving to Steve Asmussen barn.
You know, she's the horse to beat. She obviously run very well in California. She ran okay in the Kentucky Oaks, but she's going to run against the only horse that's beaten, Monomoy Girl.
Yeah, that is true. Listen, she's the horse to beat. Now in the Asmussen barn.
Giving you the eye there, Paul.
Yeah, I know, right? She's got the fisheye working, doesn't she? She's not too. Looks like she's not too camera. Doesn't like the camera too much, but.
Or Mitch.
She's got a ton of talent. Listen, Bill Spar is an old school guy. I think a lot of people forget that Bill Spar won a Breeders' Cup Sprint with Mike Smith. So the barn change is probably an even change here because Bill's very good. Coach Rocks, who was disappointing in Kentucky, was very good at Pimlico. And then Indy Union, another horse for Jeremiah Engelhardt, was 3rd to Red Ruby and behind Red Rocks in the Black Eyed Susan last time out.
Yeah, put blinkers on, 2 starts to go, Andy, and now this will be the 3rd start of her 3-year-old campaign.
She's going to have to improve to beat these horses. I mean, they are young, relatively young, lightly raced horses, and these are important races, and it's important to take a chance at them. I think that's what they're doing with her.
I'm envious of her beard. She's got a nice little beard.
She
She
took it
does have
from
a nice little
Jeremiah.
beard going.
Maybe he gave his to her.
Meanwhile, Mark Hennig will send out my Miss Lily in this spot. She's been in the money in 4 of her 5 starts. She actually won her debut on a sloppy track at Aqueduct, and then she came up with the best effort of her career, winning the Grade 2 Gazelle at a mile and an eighth.
I think the jury's still out to how good the Gazelle was. It was a fast time relative to the Memorial that day, and it got a good speed figure. But 3 horses of somewhat questionable quality hit the wire together.
There's Mark Hennig on how his filly is doing heading into the Mother Goose.
She's doing great. She said, you know, we were able to give her a little time and focus on this spot, which has been great for her. You know, she's a little bit of a nervous filly, so, you know, shipping to Kentucky, that whole routine, or threw her out of her routine, and she's always done well here at Belmont, so we're looking forward to being home and running at home. You know, we got to run her around 2 turns we had been looking forward to. This is dropping back to 1 turn. But I was optimistic. I felt like she had had a bit of a rough trip to start before. And, you know, I thought Joe rode her great that day, got her outside, and she excelled at the distance. And, you know, we're back to a mile and 16, but hopefully it goes well.
Freshened since a tough go in the Kentucky Oaks for my Miss Lily, trainer Mark Hennig. So we'll see how she fares coming up this weekend. Mother Goose could be a very good running of that race coming up. So we're looking forward to that this weekend. We're going to step aside for a timeout here. More Belmont Park Live on the way. Still to come later on in the show. McKagan for Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott has faced much better over the course of his career. Can the 7-year-old reach back and find a little more with a drop in class and get back to the winner's circle?
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NairaBets.com. Bayern turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring better in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
Back on Belmont Park Live on MSG+. Getting set for race 7 coming up ahead. Our show brought to you each and every day in part by champion sprinter, the great Run Happy, won the 2015 Breeders' Cup Sprint in track record time at Keeneland. There he is on the farm in Paris, Kentucky at Clairborne. Cannot wait to see his runners on the racetrack. Undefeated as a sprinter, all while running without the use of Lasix medication. He was something special.
He really was, and he was so fast and so brilliant. And some of the races he won them from different styles, too.
Well, we have special coverage coming up this weekend. We're going to have the Queen's Plate, first leg of the Canadian Triple Crown, as part of our broadcast on Saturday. Post time for that race, 5:36 Eastern time. And there's a look at the field. Morning line odds. Dixie Moon just beat Wonder Godot last time out in the Woodbine Oaks and one of the key contenders in the race.
So very interesting. This is fun, Andy. 16 horses lining up. For a lot of people who don't know about the Triple Crown over there in Canada, one's on synthetic, one's on dirt, one's on turf. Pretty cool.
No, it is pretty cool. I agree. The next one's at Fort Erie. It's a big field. Mark Cassidy, I think, looking to win his back-to-back. Or not back-to-back, but Telekinesis, the favorite.
Well, Telekinesis coming off a win in the plate trial back on June the 9th. Actually ran in the Grade 3 Lexington. Just missed to my boy Jack.
I thought this was a good effort because the reason why is sometimes you want your horse. I get it. He's 2 to 5. He got tested and he answered the test. Sometimes you want your 2 to 5 shot or a horse with this kind of talent get tested a little bit, and I thought he responded. Listen, Rose's Vision ran a giant race that day and was well clear of the third-place finisher.
Meanwhile, Dixie Moon mentioned that win last time out over Wonder Godot for Catherine Day Phillips in the Woodbine Oaks. Big performance there. 4 wins from 8 career starts.
Billy's looking to win this race back-to-back. We'll see if that's the case here. And so I like seeing the girls run against the boys.
Yeah. And you're right. Andy makes a great point. I want to say Josie Carroll had a filly win as well. Fillies do very well in the Queen's Plate. Do not count out both of these fillies, Wonder Godot as well as Dixie Moon.
Yeah,
they both got big shots.
At 1 to 5, she got beat, Wonder Godot.
I think she's still going to fire, though.
She seems a little random to me. She ran well in the Kentucky Oaks, and her other races are just sort of okay.
Here's the thing. Has she ran out of bullets? You know, we've seen horses try the Kentucky Derby that were Canadian breds and then go up there and fail. It's a tough thing to do because she's danced every dance. And listen, she got out-dueled by a very good filly in Monomoy Girl in Kentucky in the first Friday in May. She fired in all of her starts.
Yeah, she shows up.
Yeah.
She was well clear of Midnight Bizou, even though she got beat at 1 to 5 in that Woodbine Oaks. More than 7 lengths clear of the third-place finisher that day.
Yeah. But if you look at her, I think she lacks consistency at the highest level. She shows up, but it's not like she's winning these races. I mean, she's supposed to win at 1 to 5 last time out. I know she won her Demoiselle. We'll see how strong a race that was. I'm dubious of this horse.
We shall see. We're going to have it for you on Saturday. Definitely want to tune in, catch that first leg of the Canadian Triple Crown this weekend. We'll have coverage on Belmont Park Live. Race 7, mile on the turf, New York Breds, $40,000 maiden claiming events. Sardonyx, last couple of weeks, we've talked about trainer David Donk heating up. He's already won on the card earlier today. He'll send out this 3-year-old filly. Daughter of Freud coming up. She has back-to-back seconds at this condition. Can she break through today? There's David Donk. We'll be back.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Clairborne Farm.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live, and it's time now for a paddock report brought to you by Hillendale Farm. Hillendale now standing Curlin, as we'll get into race number 7 in just a sec. Just to have a quick tidbit to offer. Javier Castellano off the rest of his mounts for today, so we're waiting to hear what the change will be on Mo Diddley in the next race, unseated after the wire in the last race. He was up under his own power, but off the rest of his mounts today. That is Javier Castellano. Taking a look at some of the horses here in the paddock, we'll begin with one coming back off of a layoff. That is number 5, Molly's Nighthawk, for trainer John Kimmel. And her turf races as a 2-year-old, they were okay. If she can build upon that now in a maiden 40, she makes a bit of sense here. And obviously getting back to the surface is just the most ideal situation for a filly who does come back extremely fit. Now, the barn has been a bit cold here in this Belmont spring-summer meeting, but we'll see. They do too good of a work not to get back on track here at some point. The one negative about Molly's Nighthawk is that, well, she filled out a little bit. She hasn't really gone on that much from 2 to 3. But then again, she's dropping in class, so she really doesn't need to, at least from my perspective. Checking in with horses trying the turf for the first time, that includes the bookends here of this 7th race field. Number 1 is Rosie Gal, who does come from a very nice turf family. She's a half to Mr. Rosenthal, Frosty Bay, and Escandrea. I've seen them take to the turf quite nicely as well, and I think she's just made for this kind of scenario. Mile on the turf course. She comes back in here off a bit of a layoff, looking extremely fit as well, as she will offer a bit of value on the board. And same thing goes for number 9, Sophie N. Just from the overall standpoint, this is a filly who actually caught my eye the most. Now, she ran in the hood last time. She's not wearing that here today, but so far so good as far as her behavior and demeanor. Just carrying great coat and flesh. Now, as far as trying the turf, I don't know. I'm a little bit suspect of it, but the fact that she looks so good makes me want to try her, because obviously she's kind of run out of other options as far as the main track is concerned. We'll see what she does as horses are hitting the track here. Greg?
Maggie, thank you. Post-parade coming up in a few minutes here for race 7. You can get signed up, started, play along all the races that we show you each and every day on Belmont Park Live by going to Naira Bets, and a $200 new member sign-up bonus going on now. Use the promo code LIVE to take advantage. Again, go to nairabets.com to play all the races that we're bringing you as we get a quick look there at the 5. Blinkers off. That was not listed in the program on the 5 Molly's Nighthawk as she makes her 3-year-old debut, the 5.
She may be a long shot. I think the 6 or 7 are the likeliest winners here by far. The 1 and 5 feel like the oddballs I would throw in.
Yeah, the 3 would be my oddball to throw in, but the 3's getting bet. But when you look at the odds of the rest of these horses, you have the 1, the 2, the 4, the 9, the 8, and the 5. Well, you can exclude the 5, but they've all been over 30 to 1 the last time they were out. That's why the 6 and the 7 are such standouts in here.
I am shocked that in daily doubles, the 3 Reconsider is a shorter price than the 7 Geranium. Geranium and the 6 Sardonyx hit the wire together, and Geranium had a tougher trip. Why would they be that much difference in price?
I don't know. That's a good question, although Sardonyx has beat Geranium a couple times, the 6.
Here comes Rosie Gal. So the filly by Escandrea out of a wild again mare, Belmont for Dominic Schettino.
She does have the pedigree, as Maggie alluded to move up on the turf, so she could improve at a price. We'll see.
Yeah, the dam was a 4-time winner on the grass. I like your style, the 2. Dylan Davis rides for Jeremiah Engelhardt.
Did the horse get jostled at the start last time? She did. It's really tough to predict how well she ran. I think she ran even. Maybe give her another shot here at 6 to 1.
Reconsider it. Trainer J.K. Sweezy, he won earlier on today's program. This is start number 14.
Are we sure J.K. Sweezy is a male or female? I have no idea. I don't know. I'm wondering myself. I don't know. This horse seems to be overbet to me.
Saturday Night Fling, the 4, John Toscano Jr., Angel Arroyo.
Yeah, you look at this one horse's race with blinkers on the turf at 72 to 1 in July. It's plays here under Michael DeVito's care. Now Toscano has her. That's why she's 16 to 1, but not hopeless.
And 3-year-old debut here for Molly's Nighthawk, and she ran against better when she did run on the turf as a 2-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't finish that far behind the favorite Sardonyx in her last turf race. Why is she impossible here off a layoff?
And there is Sardonyx for David Donk, Irad Ortiz Jr.
This is a tough horse to bet because she's eaten up money in her last 2 starts, but then again, she could be the horse to beat with Irad aboard.
Geranium ran against Sardonyx last time out, was just a neck behind that one, trained by Thomas Bush now.
I think she's the potential overlay Geranium in this race off her last race, where in my opinion she actually ran better than Sardonyx.
Low is Lane at 52 to 1 for you Superman fans.
Yeah, and probably should be 152 to 1. You can't endorse horses that have not beat a horse in 3 starts.
Paul just put that one in the winner's circle. The 9, Sophie N at 8 to 1. Junior Alvarado and Corby Cayazo.
Yes, it's true. The sire, not a prolific turf sire, taking some money. I'm not sure why.
Well, the 2 that faced each other back on May the 31st, the 6 Sardonyx, the 7 Geranium. Let's take a look at that effort.
In my opinion, Geranium, who's making just her 2nd career start, improved dramatically off her debut, and she made the wide premature move. Now, I know Sardonyx went around her, but I think if you look at it, Geranium moved wider early in the race, and she made the first move, and both of them helped set it up for the eventual winner. To me, Sardonyx, who's making her 7th start, Geranium her 3rd start, isn't Geranium, Paul, the one who has a little more upside and is a much better price?
Well, you can say that, yeah. I mean, like, listen, she's only had 2 starts, like you said. She has more upside than Sardonyx. Sardonyx just finds ways to lose races, and basically they didn't really want to go by each other at all until the 5 went by. Now the 8 goes by here. That's my only worry. But they both seem like they didn't want to win the race, but when you look at the rest of these fillies in here, who's really going to contest them?
You know, and as opposed to like the 3 Reconsidered, who obviously could win this race, but she's making her 14th start. If you're trying to beat these horses, aren't you looking at horses like the 1 Rosie Gal, first time on the grass, or the 5 Molly's Nighthawk off the layoff? Wouldn't you rather take a stranger like them than a horse like Reconsidered who's had a bunch of chances?
Well, see, I actually like Reconsidered, and the reason why is that I think J.K. Sweezy's done a good job of this filly. Now, her races that you go back to, they're okay in the maiden 40 level. They play in here. You're sort of projecting with the 5 Molly's Nighthawk, because both of those 2 turf races were not much, but those were in maiden special weight, so you really don't know what you're getting. So I understand where you're going. I like Reconsider It. Andy doesn't.
Well, the 3 horse at 4 to 1 on the board. For those who don't know Kent Sweezy, the Lexington native, he is standing by with Maggie right now.
You know, guys, I really miss having Kent around, and we were just joking around that he's trying to go after the big guys like H. Allen Jerkins, H. Graham Motion, your J. Kent Sweezy.
That's what Jimmy Jerkins says. He says you're bound to make it if you got your first initial and then your name and then your last name. So, no, it's okay. So far, we're all right.
Well, speaking of making it, already have a winner here on the card in race number 2. Lady Oxbow, she ran huge, Kent.
Yeah, she did. We ran her a couple times early, and, you know, she deserved a little bit of class relief, and she got that here, and we had her long on the grass, blinkers on. I don't know, race set up good for her. Castellano gave her a good ride, and it's just for some good owners, so that was the most important, was for the owners. So it's good, it's really good. Happy to do it here at Belmont. I've won a lot of races over there for Jimmy Jerkins, and it was nice to do one for me. So
nothing like having one in your own name, and you'll send one out here as well, number 3, and she's coming in off a nice 2nd for you and first time under your tutelage. What can we expect from her back with New York Breds?
I don't know. I think that was the goal first time out, was just to give her a race, you know, and she's a little bit of a tricky filly, and the owners had a filly a couple years ago called Tricky Zippy.
I know that one.
We all know Tricky Zippy. And so same ownership. She actually flipped on Mike Luzzy in the paddock and broke his hip. And so this is kind of a karma thing, and so we're putting Leslie back on. She's back with her friends, so she's doing really good. She's training good. She's a tricky filly to train. You know, she doesn't do much galloping. She ponies a lot and breezes from the gate, as you can see. So I don't know. She looks great. It's a good spot for her. The mile. I wish she'd gotten the 6 furlong race. Wish they had used it a couple days ago. But listen, it's going a mile, 1 turn mile. See what happens.
All right. Well, best of luck. She fits here, that's for sure.
I think so too. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, Kent, thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
Hopefully I see you in the owner's circle.
Let's do it.
All right, guys, back to you.
Well, he's already been there today. He's worked with, as mentioned, Jimmy Jerkins, Christophe Clement, Owen Hardy, and when he was with Jimmy Jerkins, some of the horses that were under their care, Wicked Strong, F&X, who was 2nd to American Pharaoh in the 2015 Breeders' Cup, VE Day, Shaman Ghost, and some nice horses.
Yes, Shaman Ghost, speaking of a Queen's Plate winner. So he knows what he's doing. That's why I like the 3 here a little bit. Won a race earlier. This horse improved a little bit. The Monmouth Shippers have done well here. He's got to negotiate a mile now. That's the concern, but he's done it before.
So 3 to 1.
Or she has, excuse me.
Yeah, and yeah, she just definitely ran one of the better races that did she wake up turning 3-4, maybe, has just gotten better. And we'll see now stretching out if she takes another move forward. 9-5 favoritism, though, on Sardonyx, the horse she finished just ahead of, right next door, the 7 Geranium. 3-1 on the board. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing. Here's Larry Colmus.
Here's the long shot in the race here. Lois Lane moving into the starting gate. And one left to load here, Sophie N. And Junior Alvarado up to the outside stall. Will complete the line. Still waiting for Sophie N to come up. They've opened the front of the gate to try to get her to come forward here. Others are standing well. 2-1 right now on Sardonyx, the slight favorite in the wagering here. And I think we're just about set. All in line. They're off. And it's I Like Your Style who comes out running well and goes out to the lead with Reconsider It. Saturday Night Fling on the outside. Now these two are going to take over. And then it's Rosie Gal to the inside, followed by Geranium and Sardonyx. Then Lois Lane. Molly's Nighthawk on the inside, and the trailer is Sophie N. Up the backstretch, it's Reconsider It and Saturday Night Fling making the pace. They're a half length apart through an opening quarter mile of 23.64 seconds. I Like Your Style sits third. Off the pace-setting pair, 3 lengths off the lead. And then it's Geranium, Rosie Gal, and Sardonyx lined up behind them. Lois Lane is next. Then Molly's Nighthawk on the inside, and Sophie N. Reconsider It. Leading the way, 3/4 of a length to Saturday Night Fling as they run for the far turn. I Like Your Style is third. 47.48 was the half mile. And then it's Geranium on the outside of Sardonyx, 5 from the front. As the field makes their way around the far turn, Lois Lane is next on the inside. And then comes Sophie N. They make their way to the top of the stretch. Reconsider It on the inside. Saturday Night Fling. I Like Your Style comes up to them. Then Geranium and Sardonyx, who's just in behind the leaders. Lois Lane cuts the corner on the inside, and they're into the stretch. I Like Your Style is the leader. Reconsider It battles on from the inside. Geranium is third. Sardonyx in behind horses fourth. Late move coming from Molly's Nighthawk on the far outside. Still wide open on the inside. It's Reconsider It. I Like Your Style. Geranium. Sardonyx behind them, and Molly's Nighthawk. Here's Geranium. Here's Geranium to emerge up top at the wire and win. From Reconsider It, I Like Your Style, Sardonyx and Molly's Nighthawk.
Geranium, the best of the bunch late here under Luis Saez, trained by Thomas Bush.
Would you guys argue that this is the definition of grinding out a victory? Sort of ground him down the stretch. It was 3 wide, to be fair, but I think, Paul, both the first and second place finishers ran well in here. Geranium and Reconsider It was on the pace the whole way.
Yeah, you could tell Mike Luzzi, I couldn't tell if he was under a drive or not, but Reconsider It kept answering the question and actually put away the 2 here. I Like Your Style, but just couldn't put away Geranium on the outside. Congratulations to Waterfall Lake Stable. And you're right, Luis Saez gave this horse a good ride. The 6 a little unlucky, was trying to split horses there late.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, we were watching around the turn, and Luis Saez was outside with Geranium. He stayed in the clear, and Irad Ortiz saving ground on Sardonyx, and you think he's giving the better ride, saving the ground, but he ended up getting a little unlucky in the stretch when the 7 was clear.
You can see the tight shot. Watch here. Watch Irad on the gray in the blue right here. He's going to have to stop riding this horse right here.
But let me ask you a question. Did you ever feel like the 6 Sardonyx was really accelerating?
Never.
I mean,
never looked like the winner, put it that way.
And to be fair, didn't Reconsider It, who I didn't like, and you know, she do all the dirty work in here?
Ran well.
Very good race. Was out in front early as well on to duel the 34-1 shot, and here's the winning move from Geranium. Clear sailing from this point. Wins at 7-2 here in race 7. Thomas Bush, Waterville Lake Stable, and Luis Saez in the Daughter of Elusive Quality gets the money here in race 7. 7, 3, 2, 6. Prices in our feature race when we come back.
And they're off in New York. The premier state bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses, restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish first, second, or third at New York tracks. We have the quality.
Audible No doubt about it.
You have the opportunity. New York Reds, get with the program. The best program.
Back on Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus. Race 7 in the books. Geranium returns $9.90.
Yeah, congratulations to the connections here and a good job of training. Geranium is elusive quality out of a Danehill mare. Charming legacy for Waterfill Lake Stable. We've seen a homebred after homebred. New York bred this time.
Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Thank you, Greg, and joined by Tom Bush with Geranium. And Tom, a filly that kind of had a premature move in her last start, which kind of cost her here today, last time. And today, kind of got a little shuffled back at the start and sat mid-pack, but the timing was beautiful today.
It was. He rode her absolutely perfect. And last time, the filly did move a little early, but I think the jockey was doing the right thing at considering the pace in that race that day. But yeah, she was a little bit more patient today, and it definitely paid off. She had a better finish to her, and she was also much fitter than she was for her last race.
And talking about kind of bringing horses along, you're a guy who likes to take your time and develop them. Is that just kind of your style and training, and you like to race them into fitness?
I do. Generally, I do. But I think a lot of horses just aren't capable of winning first time out, no matter what you do with them. So I kind of just treat them all that way. And maybe that's not the right approach either, but I usually like to give them, a little experience.
Well, she looked fantastic, and she looked good getting her winner's picture taken here today. Tom, congrats.
Thank you so much.
All right, Greg.
Tom Bush, well done here. Gets the job done with Geranium as we get set for our feature race. It is next on the inner turf, mile and a 16th, and Mo Diddley, the 3-year-old for Mark Cassie, favored right now.
Clearly people were listening to our production meeting this morning where both you, Greg Wolf, and I were criticizing and knocking Mo Diddley's chances. That's why he's a short price.
Clearly you don't know Diddley.
Apparently
That's been clear for a while.
Well, we'll find out when they cross the wire. But right now, yeah, Mo Diddley, son of Uncle Mo, the favorite, trying to get a second straight win. Came to Belmont, got the job done at 7 furlongs. Now going to try and do it at a mile and a 16th ahead. We'll talk about race 8 when we return with more Belmont Park Live.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Clairborne Farm.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Naira Bets, racing's best play.
The horses.
23 races and he's placed 10 times.
It's really nice, and my kids love the new stuff here.
The ambience, the trees, the people, beautiful weather. It's great.
Fun. Good environment, good crowd.
At the Jim Dandy Bar.
There are things I should say. It's so good when we get it together. I can tell by the look in your eye that you know that I'm gonna deliver.
Watching the jockeys race.
Oh, that's official right there. What a way.
Where we all met. We all became friends here at Saratoga just from being in this very spot.
It's awesome. I love it. The atmosphere. Look at everybody here. Everybody's dolled up to the nines. I got this blazer on. I'm feeling good.
We cannot wait. We're almost there, just 3 weeks away until Saratoga gets going. July 20th, opening day, and all kinds of special events set for this year's meet.
There's nothing like Saratoga. I mean, there's so much great stuff going on there on a daily basis. Great racing, great things happening, lots of good food. And to me, Greg, the fans that come out. I mean, obviously, fans don't come out the track the way they used to, but everybody comes to Saratoga, and it's great to see them.
And the great thing that I love about the fans that come, the knowledge they have of the game, too, and the appreciation of the sport, the history of the sport as well, that really helps make the meet so special.
I agree. I mean, you have families and people that have been coming there their entire lives, and everybody has great memories of Saratoga, and it's a place where once you go, you come back every year for the rest of your life.
Without question. July 20th, opening day. Hope to see you there. If not, we're going to have Saratoga Live all summer long, so you can catch us on the tube. Here's a look at Gucci Factor. This 8th race I thought was intriguing, a puzzler. Inner turf, mile and a 16th, New York bred allowance optional claiming group, and taking a look at Gucci Factor, the 7 in here. Christophe Clement, 2 starts back on turf. This will look at the winning performance, Andy.
And he got, a very good trip this day. Minsky Moment, who was second, is a horse that likes to run second. Follow the Signs, who finished third, is the horse in the lead right now instead of very quick pace. But he still ran fairly well. Second off a layoff, going from dirt to turf. Why can't he win? And the way this inner turf course has played so far today with the rails out, he may be the one that benefits with the best trip.
He is 5-2 on the board right now. Joel Rosario will be aboard this afternoon. He's ridden this horse on a couple of occasions. As we take a look at Christophe Clement, second off a layoff, dirt to turf over the last 5 years.
And keep in mind, while the ROI is slightly below $2, it's still well above the takeout. And it's a strong number, and he's winning at over 25% clips. Those are strong numbers overall for Christophe. And I think it shows an intention, Greg, to go, give him a prep on the dirt and then put him on the right surface.
Meanwhile, Samadhi Sky. We're going to take a look at the 5 here for Ed Barker. In the last 2 starts, they've come at this level, Andy, both on the turf. Good efforts, but has not been able to get to the winner's circle. What do you make of him?
You know, look, he's not impossible. Obviously, he could win this race. There's quite a few horses in here. But to me, he just sort of picks up pieces with good trips. And last time out, caught a very fast pace in a race where the pace fell apart, and he sort of clunked into second. To me, he's the least likely of the sort of logical horses in here.
3-1 on Samadhi Sky. So we'll see. This will be his 3rd in a row on the turf here, and Dylan Davis getting back on board today. There's a look at him in the paddock. It's an interesting race. You have Samadhi Sky, Gucci Factor. They both run good races last time out this level, and then you have a horse like the one McKagan, who has faced world's better runners. And now he's taking a big drop in class, trying to get back into the winner's circle for the first time in over a year. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the show. This is Belmont Park Live here on MSG+. Greg Wolf, Paul LaDuca, Andy Serling. We're going to be joined by Maggie Wolfendale down in the paddock here in just a moment. But intriguing race in here, and you mentioned this race, Andy, on the inner turf. Pace-wise in here, we're probably going to see some pace from those inside too, no?
You would think, well, Tribeca, the 2, has got to be winging. I mean, this is a bullet speed. And I think Tribeca is worth discussing for one reason. Why is he even in this race? And when you see a horse, and Gary Siaka's trainers having a very good year, and I have to think here's what Gary Siaka's thinking. Everyone's going to be afraid of Tribeca. So he's going to cruise out the lead. Maybe he's able to go a little bit slower up front, and it gives him a chance to wire the field, because the only time he ran the turf was a sprint with a blistering pace. Now, I'm not saying I would bet him, and I think we're all a little dubious of him winning, but you have to ask yourself, Gary Siaka's winning a lot of races. He's not stupid. Why is he running in here, and isn't that what he's thinking, Paul?
I think so. It has to be what he's thinking. And then it might affect the one, or it might help the one, McKagan, because if you look at McKagan's best race, it was basically rating, and I think he's turned into somewhat of a runoff horse, and I don't think he can get in front of Tribeca, and it might help him.
He has one rating. If you go back to November 19th, in 2016, he actually did rate in that race. So he's shown he can sit behind horses, but I think Greg was alluding to it, and I think you could say that about Cluntia, the 6 as well. Both of these horses are trying to show, can they still run effectively?
That's true. Have they taken second backwards? That's actually a good question.
We will find out soon enough here. We're going to check in again with Maggie Wolfendale when we come back from a timeout. Still favored. The 3-horse Mo Diddley. For trainer Mark Cassidy, it will be John Velasquez aboard coming up here in the 8th race, a rider switch. Quick break. We'll be back with more Belmont Park Live right after this timeout.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Naira Bets, racing's best play.
Eclipse champion Blaine notched over $4.3 million in earnings, including this historic victory over Zenyatta. Now he's making a name for himself as an internationally successful stallion. Recent top runners include multiple graded stakes winner Fault and French Classic winner Senga. In the ring, his yearlings have sold up to $350,000. Among the top sires of his crop by lifetime graded stakes horses, his 2018 stud fee offers outstanding value. Blaine, standing at Clairborne Farm.
Back on Belmont Park Live, we have our feature race coming up, approaching the 10-minute mark to post, and there is Cluntia, 5-year-old with some back class as well, but he is going to need much better than what he showed in his most recent effort. He will be in a new barn this afternoon, claimed off of Jimmy Jerkins, now with Mike Maker.
I will admit that I sort of copped out picking Clutia. Mike Maker has terrific numbers off the claim with turf horses, but he claimed this horse off of Jimmy Jerkins, and the horse ran horrendously in his last race.
Yeah, he did. And I actually bet the horse last time out, and then he just did not run a step. He showed a little speed and backed up. But listen, the horse might have needed a start, and Andy's right. Maker does do wonders with certain horses like this on the turf.
Time for a Paddock Report brought to you by Hillandale Farm. Now standing Byron for $25,000. Let's go to Maggie.
Greg, thank you. And we'll begin with the horse who does pick up a different jockey. Johnny V, as we were saying earlier, is now on number 3, Mo Diddley. And he's trying the longest distance that he has yet on the turf. And he's kind of had a nice progression. He's gone from the 5 to the 7, which he won at. Now he's going out to the mound of 16th here. And physically, I don't see why this horse can't handle this whatsoever. There's not a chink in his armor. To me, looking at him, observing his behavior, which is very calm, relaxed, and focused, that he can't be successful going a mound of 16th here against these New York breds. Moving on to number 6, Cluntia, who is very intriguing to me. Now, I'm one of the biggest Jimmy Jerkins fans as the next person, but last time Cluntia to me just didn't seem like that fit of a horse. Now maybe there's a chink in his armor, and that's why he was offered up for a tag, but then again, it was probably the most logical spot. Well, Mike Maker scoops him up here, and I gotta say, he looks 10 times more together. He's not as washed out. His coat looks better. Granted, he always is a horse that gets a little hot, but he was just really washy last time I had seen him. And just a better demeanor, just a more focused, he's always been energetic, but he's just nicely on the bridle. It's that controlled energy that you like to see. I have positive vibes coming off of Cluntia here and observing him. Now, another one that always gets a little hot and washy is number 7, Gucci Factor as well. This horse is a bit of an in-and-outer. He's a little bit hard to trust, so I got to say that from his physical confirmation, I do like the turf for him. He's got that flatter foot. I think it's a little kinder to him overall. It's just him getting focused and kind of concentrating on business, because for me, he does get himself a little bit riled up, which I don't always love to see. Greg?
Great information, as always, from Maggie Wolfendale. Get signed up, get started, play along. You can get down in this 8th race coming up. Go to nairabets.com. There's a $200 new member sign-up bonus. You got to use the promo code LIVE to take advantage. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to nairabets.com as we again look at Gucci Factor, 5-2.
And Emmanuel Rosario just returned from Ascot
with
a win.
How about that?
Pretty cool.
Heading abroad to the Royal Meet.
Yeah.
Getting the job done for Wesley Ward, who enters double digits now at the Royal Meeting at Royal Ascot. Got his 10th winner.
Pretty cool. And that guy is, I don't know, he's got waving his thing. You can see right there at the bottom of the screen. But yeah, it is cool. Wesley's changed the game over there.
Post parade coming up for our feature, and here is McKagan, the former multiple stakes winner, trained by the Hall of Famer Belmont.
Going to have to rate today and get it done. Another horse who's looking to get back on the right track, dropping down.
Speed horse on a speed rider, stretching out, going back to turf. Tribeca's game plan, send.
Yeah, and the crazy part is he usually breaks on his toes too. So look from the get-go, he's going to be the horse to catch.
Mo Diddley still the 5-2 favorite, and there is the son of Uncle Mo, Mark Cassidy, and rider change John Velasquez.
He is coming off a win, but he has to get a lot faster to beat quite a few in here, and he has to show he wants to improve with distance. Not for me at 5-2.
Leave him at the gate. Big price. Mike Luzzy aboard for Leah Giramati, son of Gittins Joy.
Yeah, this horse is very interesting because the best races that he's ever run are by far at Belmont. 7 out of 10 in the try. So maybe you want to throw this horse in as a long shot in the bottom.
Samadhi Sky. We showed you his last out effort. Dylan Davis will be aboard.
He was helped out by a very fast pace last time out.
He's 7-2 on the board right now. Cluntia, son of Sydney's Candy, now in the barn of Mike Maker. We'll see if that wakes him up.
Yeah, this is one of the other ones. McKagan and the 6 are the 2 horses here that you actually can buy for $40,000. They're up for the tag. And, He's been off since May 12th, but he's getting some money here at the windows.
And Christophe Clement sends out Gucci Factor, the son of Gioponti.
I think he's a very logical horse in this race based on his turf race and his prep on the dirt last time.
Gioponti out of a Dyna former mare. Should love the turf with that pedigree.
Yeah.
Showed that he loved it 2 starts back in just a second try of his career on the grass.
Yeah, he's a tough read, Gucci Factor, because his first race on the turf, he wasn't wearing blinkers. They experimented a lot of things, and then boom, that race at Aqueduct, just everything clicked and everything just came together.
It did, and he may have the right running style for this race, get a good trip in here. He's a logical player. You know, I think he's a much, I mean, I'm shocked that he's the same price right now as Mo Diddley. I don't get it.
Back to Cluntia, made a tremendous appearance in the paddock. Jose Ortiz will be back aboard today for, the barn switch of Mike Maker, but just didn't show anything. And maybe you can excuse it from being off the bench, but you go back to those last few starts, and yeah, they were against a ton better when he was with Jimmy Durkins, but he was not running his better races.
Right, I want to say it was the good turf, but that turf wasn't good. It was listed as good, but they ran on it like it was lightning fast, so I can't really blame the turf condition. Like I said, I picked him, and I'm hoping that he can really resurrect his career for Mike Maker, who is just as good a trainer with off the claim with turf horses as there is in the game.
Yeah, he is. And I don't know the horse's running style. Like, his one win, he chased a lone front on it runner that was like 7 lengths clear. Now, McKagan, last time he ran, he was 6 lengths clear. What's he going to do today? He's going to have to chase the 2, Tribeca. And like I said earlier, he has that race to go to where he's rated before, and it might help him that there's a horse in here that's actually faster than him, and he doesn't have to choke down to be slower than the other horse. He can just be his normal stuff. I'm wondering how far clear the 1 and 2 get from this field.
He won the Artie Schiller stakes race, sitting off the pace in his past with more on McKagan. Let's go to Maggie.
And you guys bring up a great point and an interesting dynamic that may or may not play out in this field. We'll take a look, though, at those 2 speedsters from the inside. And beginning with number 1, McKagan, he got a pretty brisk warm-up, kind of against Irad Ortiz's wishes, in that he was really, really into the bridle, and Irad just kind of leaning back as he moved away from the pony. He's now back with the pony after a pretty nice gallop around the turn here. You know, this is probably the easiest spot and field that McKagan has faced in recent times, and physically, guys, I can't say that he's lost a step. Obviously, his form leans that way, but I can't point out anything that looks different or less than what I've seen from him in years past. It's probably just because he is getting up there and he's now a 7-year-old. But I think back here against these New York breds, maybe he'll find this spot a little softer. Now, Tribeca, he is the weird horse in this field, and Andy bringing up the points of why Gary Siaka probably put him in here, and it makes sense. Why not take a shot? He's another one that has run through these conditions, and it just kind of makes sense overall. He too got a warm-up away from the pony. I can't say that he was showing as much energy as McKagan beneath Kendrick Carmouche, but still, the intent is there. I don't know about going along with him. He's a pretty small type of horse where he doesn't quite match up physically against these other turf routers. Greg?
It is an interesting move. You would have to think there's no way in the world the 1 could run with the 2 early on in here. There's not much pedigree with the 2 on the turf, though. So again, the fact he's in here, they got to be thinking, let's try and steal it.
Yeah, no, I think that's clear. I mean, that's whether or not he can do it and whether or not he can go long or he's really a turf horse are all questions. But there's sort of a logic to trying him going longer on the turf as opposed to shorter, because in a turf sprint, he's going to likely get caught up in a quick pace. They know here, they're all afraid of him. Nobody, the 1 and 6 aren't running with him. They're not getting in trouble and running. And they have to make the logical conclusion, which may be true. He's just going to collapse.
Are we going to see a Voodoo Song type of a scenario here? He opens up 10, 12, 14 lengths on the field.
How fast does he want to go? I mean, maybe he wants to nurse him along. I don't know. He's just an odd horse. He'll probably run to his odds, but who knows?
Yeah, it's true.
Analyst selections, both Andy, Maggie going with Cluntia, who has made a very nice appearance. And then there is Samadhi Sky, 9-2 on the board.
Yeah, I like this horse a little bit. I like the race 2 back. Tyler Babes was in town, was aboard. You know, had the inside trip all the way around. I get it, got a good trip. And then last time out, had the overland routes. I did not like him last time out. I thought he ran better last time. He did get a pace to run into. Now you get Dylan Davis. He seems like he can make his own trip. He's shown speed on dirt. he seems like he hasn't shown that much speed on turf, but I think he can at least lay close enough, and there's enough speed in here to set up his nice little closing kick, and I like his price at 9-2.
Meanwhile,
I can't believe Clintia is 4-1. I thought Clintia would get bet in here a little bit
and
more.
we can't believe that. We also can't believe the 3 is still favored at 5-2. This will be the 3rd start on turf. Clearly took a move forward, getting on the grass. He won his first time out. He showed ability. They thought enough of this horse, Mark Cassidy and company, Gary Barber and Cheyenne Stables, to put him in graded stakes company in the 2nd start of his career.
I just don't see. Listen, if he was 6-1 and somebody liked him, or 8-1, I'd say, you know, good luck, and he's a decent price. He's horrendous value at 5-2. He's just, there's not enough to recommend about him to make him 5-2 here and co-favored second choice.
Listen, I think the public's looking. Listen, he got into the state bred ranks last time and he crushed, and I think they're thinking, okay, he's now back in the state bred ranks again and he's going to crush again. This is a way tougher field.
I'm confused by his price.
I mean, he can win, but 5-2 is pretty short.
3-year-old who they got on the turf. He woke up. He's improving. 3rd start of his 3-year-old season here, so we'll see. But yeah, that price is awfully short. Now the 7 Gucci Factor actually clicks down and becomes the favorite, the 7 horse here on the outside. Loading up for our feature race. A lot of storylines in this one. Will the old-timer McKagan, with a drop down in class, the 1, be able to return to the winner's circle? He'll have to do it sitting off of the 2 Tribeca in this spot. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call. Here's Larry Colmus.
Last 2 set to move into the starting gate here. Cluntia going in. And at 2-1 right now, Gucci Factor steps forward. They're all in line. They're off. Tribeca and McKagan come out well. Cluntia is away running in 3rd on the outside. And then comes Mo Diddley, followed by Gucci Factor, Samadhi Sky, and leave him at the gate on the inside. So it's going to be Tribeca to make the pace here. And up into 2nd on the outside is Cluntia. McKagan is wrangled off the pace to sit 3rd onto the backstretch, a length and a half off the lead, and just ahead of Mo Diddley, who's 4th on the outside of leave him at the gate. Gucci Factor is 5 from the front at this point, and just ahead of Samadhi Sky through a 24.51 initial quarter mile. Tribeca and Kendrick Carmouche about a length in front now. And then it's Cluntia in 2nd. McKagan is on the inside of Mo Diddley. Break of another 2 to leave him at the gate. Gucci Factor now 6 from the top, and Samadhi Sky is the trailer. Tribeca went 47.36 for the half mile and heads into the far turn a length in front of Cluntia. And then it's Mo Diddley on the outside of McKagan, who continues to save all the ground into the far turn. Leave him at the gate, being ridden to keep up. Gucci Factor is now 8 lengths behind, and Samadhi Sky. It's still Tribeca. Cluntia just to the outside. A length and a half back to Mo Diddley. McKagan waiting for a spot to run. Still in hand, coming toward the top of the stretch. And circling up on the outside with McKagan now is Gucci Factor, and they'll move together. And Gucci Factor is under a full head of steam on the outside as Mo Diddley has taken the lead. Gucci Factor bearing down. On the inside, it's Cluntia. McKagan not going on with them, and Samadhi Sky on the far outside. Gucci Factor and Joel Rosario take off for the wire, and they're going to win going away. Mo Diddley was 2nd, Cluntia 3rd, a photo between Samadhi Sky and McKagan in 141.09.
Well, this horse has shown now he belongs on the turf. Wins for the 2nd time in his career on the grass. 2 wins now in his last 3 starts.
Yeah, he was confident sitting back. He got a confident ride from Joel Rosario. It was a fair pace, not particularly fast, and that outside move wins again in the turf course.
Yeah, it does. Mo Diddley, the money was right.
Yep.
Listen, ran really well in here to the son of Uncle Mo, but he just sort of leaned down to the inside and got a little tired. And the classic hand ride by Joel will get the job done in 141 flat, basically.
And you know who really, McKagan had nothing. I mean, he had a perfect trip. He had nothing at all.
Nothing.
Cluntia wasn't great, but McKagan didn't do anything.
It just shows you. I just don't think he wants to be choked down, or he does, but as soon as Tribeca took the lead, he looked like he was sitting in a good spot, but just no punch.
Gucci Factor, the son of Gio Ponte for Castleton Lions. Joel Rosario, Christophe Clement, his last 2 times on turf. He has gone to the winner's circle. We'll be back. 5-2 favorite at post time. Gets the job done. 7-3-6 finish. Photo for 4th. We'll be back to wrap up the 8th set up race 9 to close out the card when we return on Belmont Park Live.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. Phoenix has won the Travers over American Fang.
Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial.
Alice.
Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it as the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Back on Belmont Park Live, Joel Rosario, Christophe Clement in the Silks of Castleton Lions. Gucci Factor now won his last 2 on the turf.
And he just seems to be going the right direction for Christophe Clement. He got the right trip and ride today.
Yeah, congratulations. You were talking about the pedigree earlier, Wolfie. Giaponte had a Dynaformer mare shoe-in for Castleton Lions. Congratulations to the breeders here. Highclere, New York bred, and there you get your pick 3 for $53. $7 even on your Gucci Factor. If you're live in this late pick 4 and Naira Bet late pick 5, obviously the 4 is a heavy favorite. And there's your photo for 4th if you were looking for your super.
Yeah, 5 just out dueling the one there, Samadhi Sky, out dueling McKagan. Take a look at the Naira Bets late pick 5 follow along, 42,600 plus in that pool. And nothing too difficult to come up with today in terms of big numbers. And we're going to have a very short price favorite in the finale, but we'll get to that in a moment. First, let's go downstairs to Maggie standing by with a winning trainer.
Yes, joined by Christophe Clement and Gucci Factor. Christophe, I know he's been a bit of a frustrating horse for you, but he has run very well in his last 2 turf starts.
And absolutely, he's got talent, he's got quality. He's very similar physically to his dad, but unfortunately, mentally, he's very weak. So Belmont works out well because obviously he trains here, we school him every day. And but I'm delighted he won well this afternoon, so this is great.
And he was a horse you're saying probably maybe avoid Saratoga just because there's so much activity going on up there.
Yeah, it's very tough for that kind of horses because by the time you get to the paddock, they've seen the crowd, they've seen the noise, and a lot of them lose their races, you know, beforehand, which happened to him last year. So I don't know, I'll have to talk to the owner and we'll come up with a plan.
And he's a horse that you ran a couple times or more than a couple times on the main track. Had he showed an affinity for the main track more so?
And his form is actually okay on dirt, and I would have run him today if the race came off the grass. He might be just a notch better on turf than what he's on dirt, but he's okay on dirt. You know, he can run as well. Even if today he impressed me, that might be on mating the best race of his life. So let's enjoy it. Yeah.
Always a nice one that can run on both surfaces. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, Greg.
I get the same way at Saratoga. My mind's going in a million different directions. I can't focus.
I knew there was some excuse, Greg.
Christophe Clement, Gucci Factor, getting it done in race 8. We still have another to come here. Mile on the turf, New York Breds, maiden claiming coming up. Grand Banks was 4-5. Morning line on a horse who is 0 for 19 in her career and who has actually been in for maiden claiming New York bred company on the turf before and failed on several occasions.
She might, though, have found the right field.
Wow.
And sometimes they win by attrition. Listen, who's the horse that won here the other day? Briefs, Appealing Briefs got it done?
Appealing Briefs, yeah.
So
that was Chad Brown. Like
Jimmy Toner.
Yeah, Jimmy Toner, you're right. You make a great point. Listen, someone's going to really have to move up to beat Grand Banks. And if this filly loses today, the connections are going to be wondering what's going on.
If it ever set up for him, today's the day. Jose Ortiz, he's been on this one before. He's back aboard this afternoon trying to close out the card on a winner. We'll be back.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warfront. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 mile at Keeneland, then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. His runners include stakes winner Stardoza, along with a growing list of talented young runners. At public auction, his yearlings have sold up to $200,000. Data Link, standing at Clairborne Farm.
Run Happy's first foals are on the ground. Everyone's excited about the Run Happy foals, and he's Run Happy's first foals are on the ground. Everyone's excited about the Run Happy foals, and he's throwing his quality and looks like his speed and athleticism in his foals. And if they can run like him, I think we'll be in really good shape.
I get a lot of calls from people telling me what great foals they've had by the horse, and they love them and this and that. I mean, you know, they're all kind of similar, you know, color, size, physicals. So we'll see as we go, but so far so good.
But yeah, no, you see a lot of Run Happy in a lot of his foals.
Well, we bought Run Happy at the Keeneland sale several years ago and bought him for $200,000, so best investment I ever made.
To have a horse that was medication-free throughout his career speaks volumes. I mean, you know, most of them have to have a little something every now and again. Yeah, that makes him pretty unique in today's world to run at the level he did for a period of time he did it.
He's a drug-free horse. We think sports ought to be drug-free, so we try to practice what we preach.
But I think the race that probably really got our attention was the King's Bishop in Saratoga that year. And that kind of, it's like, you know, when he re-broke at the top of the stretch and opened up and won as easy as he did, it's like, wow, okay, yeah, this horse is for real.
It's Run Happy in front. Limousine Liberal, Holy Boss can get him. Run Happy has won the Naira.com King's Bishop by 4.
Certainly one of the highlights of my life was watching him on the screen there at Naira go across the finish line first to the King's Bishop Grade 1. So at that point, we knew we had a real racehorse.
To go up to Saratoga and win the King's Bishop like he did and run away with it and win so impressively, and then come here and, you know, his saddle slipped at the race in Keeneland and he still won, and then it looked like he was a loser in the Breeders' Cup, but he fought on, and his game and the determination he had was really impressive. And
got a little behind, was way behind at the top of the stretch, and then he made an amazing run down there and won the Breeders' Cup race. That was a the Breeders' Cup Sprint champion, new track record at Keeneland. So again, just a testimony to this great horse and the team behind him, which was, you know, Laura and Cordell and the team that devoted so much time, effort, and energy to Run Happy. And we couldn't be prouder to have Run Happy and have him stand at Clairborne Farms. That is myself and my daughter's happy place. We love Clairborne Farms, and Run Happy loves being there. He won at Keeneland, he won at Santa Anita, he won at Saratoga, several of the legendary places in horse racing. And what a great horse, what a great thrill it was to be around Run Happy and now to follow his stud career.
That was probably one of the most famous stalls in maybe Central Kentucky, or maybe the country or the world even. You know, it had Bold Ruler, Secretariat, Unbridled. Now it has Run Happy, so we can see if he can continue on with the tradition.
That's hallowed ground. Stall 1 there at Clairborne Farm, where Run Happy is standing. Champion sprinter at 2015. And our show brought to you in part by Run Happy each and every day. We got one more race to come here. Greg Wolf, Paul LaDuca, Andy Serling with you on MSG Plus. Our nightcap coming up. And the big question in this race, can the 4 Grand Banks get it done? Based on what he did in his last turf effort, he should beat this field. But he is 0 for 19. And he's going to be a very short price.
The thing about him, or being about her, excuse me, of the races that she's been a part of, she's been the favorite like twice or 3 times, excuse me, twice on the program, but 3 times total, and one of them was on dirt. So she's never really been the favorite.
No, it's not as though she's one of these enormous money burners that's been a super short price and keeps losing. And if you look at her last turf race, she ran a race that's so much better than anybody's running here. And that doesn't mean horses can't improve. It doesn't mean somebody won't step it up or like the surface or whatever. But, geez, on paper, she just seems like better than these horses.
Well, her last turf effort, that was 2 back. That was a New York bred maiden special weight. So now she's into maiden claiming. The horse she beat, that was a Christophe Clement horse who would come back and win at a better level next time out than what Grand Banks is running in for today. So based on that, yeah, a lot to like with the 4. We shall see. Paddock report coming up. Post-parade as well. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run Happy, standing at Clairborne Farm.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live. Time for a nightcap here in race number 9. These New York bred maiden fillies going a mile on the Widener turf course. And as the guys were saying before break, that gal right there is the one to beat. That's number 4, Grand Banks. She just looks it in the flesh as well. Going back to her first start for Jeremiah Englehart, it was a try against maiden special weight company. And you can sometimes get away with that with a horse that might fit more with maiden claimers when it's those early turf races during the year. And we saw the horse that finished behind her, Peril, come back and win quite nicely in her next start as well. So against this field, Grand Banks looks awfully tough to beat. We'll check in next with number 7. That is Crater Rim, who will try to stretch out here on the turf course. And I don't know if I'm in love with that. I like her as an individual. She looks great. I mean, she carries her weight well. Her coat looks fantastic. But she is that smaller, shorter coupled type where I don't know exactly what kind of trip she's going to work out either. Does she show speed in here? We'll see. Like I said, I can't fault her other than I just don't know if this is the right distance. And then finally, number 6 is Frosty Lynn's for Dominic Scatino. I liked her before they got this tack on her. She looked great. She was relaxed. She looked fit. She looked strong. And now she's starting to lose it since she's been saddled. So I don't love that about her, but she is 5-1. You'd have to think she'll drift up from there as well. We'll see what she does in her second start here on the turf course in race number 9. And again, this Paddock Report brought to you by Hillendale Farms. Greg?
Maggie, thank you. Approaching the 10-minute mark to post. Coming up, and there a look at Crater Rim for John Pregman Jr. Last couple of starts has had issues getting out of the gate.
Yeah, she has some trouble getting out. I don't love that Maggie didn't love her as a horse stretching out in distance, but she's had some trips, too. I mean, she did not get the cleverest of rides in her last start, and that was a race dominated on the front end towards the inside, and she was wide and way back. I thought that she was like maybe the second likeliest winner behind the 4. Maybe that just makes the favorite even better.
Yeah, I give her a look. She has to get out of the gate. She has to really get out of the gate. And maybe she can improve. Now, the 9, the unknown maybe. Kelly Rubley actually has very good stats going from turf to dirt and going long. And Cohen gets aboard, and this horse ran even first time out.
I just wish this horse, I agree with all of that. I just wish this horse had some turf pedigree.
There is no turf pedigree, you're right.
Jimmy Creed and
out of an Eltish
and Eltish. It just doesn't exactly say I'm going to move up on the grass, but I agree with everything else you said, Paul.
First foal out of a mare who was 0 for 9 on the turf.
It's tough. You know,
and getting played.
Those Jimmy Creeds, they're not lawnmowers.
You got to play somebody, and the 2's getting played because this is probably the horse that's going to be in front.
Yeah, and is dropping from maiden special to maiden claimers, too. And the thing is with these New York breds, the maiden claiming maiden special weights is not as big a difference a lot of times as there are with open company horses, especially when you're dealing with horses, many of them who have had many chances.
And the 4 is one of them who's been at this level before many times, but again, a field that looks like she may find to her liking. And 7-5, that price slowly starting to come down.
The thing that you get is you're wondering, okay, has she been in this position before? And then you look at the 1, 35-1 last time out. The 2, 55-1 last time out. The 3, 24-1 last time out. The 5, 94-1 first time out. The 6, 19-1. The 7 and 9 did get played, where the 4 was 85 cents on the dollar. I mean, tough to ignore.
Take a look at the Belmont Showdown Standings online contest. You can play along during the races that we show you on our program without risking any of your own money, and you can actually win points in your account that equal money to play with and see your name climb that leaderboard as well. Today was $5 win play show. Great way to get introduced to racing if you're new to it, or if you just want to have a little fun without risking any of your own money.
Paul, what's your favorite name today? You're the man on these.
Well, who was just up there? I missed him. Oatmeal. He hasn't been up there in a while.
Here's Molly's Lane. Blinkers coming off for start number 2 and getting on the turf for the first time.
It's the first foal from a dam that did win 2 of 25 starts in the turf, so she does have some pedigree on the dam side at least.
10-1. The 2, Fancy Case, Jose Lizcano, drops in class for Patrick Kelly.
Yes, a filly by Pomeroy. She tried to show her speed first time out, and she sort of collapsed. She's long shot here, or at least a long shot before, but today she might have the lead for a while at 9-2.
Just Enough Hope, the 3, 6 starts, has never hit the board, including 3 on the turf for Gary Siaka.
I don't even think she has just enough hope.
I was waiting to hear what the comment would be here. 7-5 on the 4. Grand Banks for Jeremiah Engelhardt, the one to beat.
I would say today is the day, and Jose Ortiz being aboard obviously helps.
Probably going to be even money or lower by the time we get to post time. I admire you, the 5. Abel Lizcano for Asif Ronan.
Thanks, Greg.
You knew that, right?
I do now.
Also the name of the horse, by the way.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
I was talking about
Oh.
Andy.
I was confused.
Big price, 3 starts, never hit the board. The 6, Frosty Linz. I thought Frosty Linz was interesting.
Yeah, I guess he got out of the Frost Giant 0 for 120 first time on the turf, so I don't know what he is second time on the turf, but hey.
1 for
At
146.
6-1, why not?
Crater Rim, John Pregman Jr., Angel Arroyo.
If she can stretch out effectively, and if she can get out of the gate, and if she can get a better trip, she has a chance.
Uh-oh. A lot of ifs there. Yeah, Classic Lady of the 9 rounds out the field again. First foal from this dam, who is 0 for 9 on the grass, 5-1.
I don't even know if she's bred to eat grass, much less run on it, but maybe in this field.
And yet she's 5-1.
Yes, she is.
It all, you know, the more we go through this race, don't we just feel like the favorite looks better and better?
Yeah. Does even money look like a gift here?
I don't think you're going to get
no
it.
gifts at the racetrack.
Belmont Showdown standings one more time
Buddy
for
Gill
you.
is the guy that's
we
always
got
up
a
there.
5-way tie for first, so good luck to all that are alive here. Trying to get some points in your account that equal money to play with. Good luck. 4, by the way, getting an aggressive warm-up, so Jose Ortiz going to try and maybe put this horse into the action early on, not mess around. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. Nightcap still to come on Belmont Park Live. We'll have it next.
Bayern turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back there in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
And they're off in New York. The premier state-bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses, restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish first, second, or third at New York tracks. We have the quality.
Audible, no doubt about it.
You have the opportunity. New York breds. Get with the program. The best program.
We're back on Belmont Park Live. Our nightcap coming up. We're just 4 minutes to post. And a look at the 9. That is Classic Lady. Her first start came back on May 25th. It was sprinting on the dirt in a 30 maiden Clemming event for New York breds. Now, stretching out, getting on the grass.
But she has been training on a synthetic surface at Fair Hill. And, you know, it's obviously they're not the same. Synthetic is a third surface. But usually it's closer to turf. And you wonder if the trainer, Kelly Rubley, because she knows the pedigree of this horse, has clearly looked and thought maybe the way the horse is trained on synthetic, that maybe he'll be able to handle the turf, or she'll be able to handle the turf?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I mean, listen, you're right. There is no pedigree for the turf, really anywhere there. And actually, the filly's probably bred to go around one turn, like 6 furlongs. But when watching the race, the horse evenly ran. David Sticks, who's been riding hot. And when you look at another alternative, Kelly does a good job with the turfers. So at 7-1, I would take my flyer there with the 4. I would, because I just don't. I mean, who else do you look for?
I'm all 4-7. I'm all 4-7.
With more on the 9, let's go to Maggie.
I like it.
Yes, taking a look at number 9 in here. That is Classic Lady. And Kelly Rubley, yes, opting to switch her to the turf here. I will say that she looks as though she should handle it. I'm a little concerned about the distance, given her physical makeup, given her physical frame, and that she is shorter coupled. You can see she's kind of built downhill. She has that short back, and that just says to me more of a sprinting type. And I don't love the way she's acting here. She's actually kind of half freezing, I think, or just seems a little bit agitated overall. But on the other hand, she didn't show much speed when she sprinted first time out. And prior to doing this out on the track, she's been very quiet and relaxed. So that usually bodes well for horses trying to stretch out. We'll see. I'm not totally against her, but I am a little bit suspect of her. I will say, though, that as you guys said, there isn't really much pedigree. But the dam, at least, she did run buyers in the low 80s on the turf. So at least she handled it a little bit. It's just a little feather in her cap, I guess, right, guys?
Hey, you never know. I mean, dams, every single offspring doesn't always run well on the grass. This is the first foal. You never know. Maybe till you try it. We'll see what happens.
Listen,
take a shot.
I had a trainer, and a very sharp trainer, tell me one time, when you have a horse, you want to try to check off the boxes. I get it. When you have a cheaper horse, it's harder to do, but you want to try a horse going short on the dirt, long on the dirt, short on the turf, long on the turf. Try everything and check off the boxes, and that's what they're trying to do here. Now the favorite down to 3-5.
There's a look again at Grand Banks in here, and I just have to. I mean, that
washed out a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit there on the neck area, and it is somewhat of a cool day.
I don't think it matters.
No. Thing is, you put a line through that last race, obviously, right? It was
You
a
have
sloppy racetrack.
You have to.
Didn't run at all. But it's on turf where this horse has run the good races. In that last race, probably one of the better races she's run. So maybe she's come back from 3-4, and it's just shown a little bit of improvement.
Gotta hope so, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like, I feel like she could be like a Peeling Breeze, what we saw. She could just circle this field and win by many, or we'll really find out what she's made of. I don't see her losing. I don't. I really don't. If she loses this race, I'm going to be puzzled. And I think she loses the race to the 9, who's never run on the turf. And to me, that's it. I know Andy likes 7, but I think the 9 on paper is the only one because is the unknown. The 9's the unknown.
The 2 dropping a class with Jose Lezcano intriguing too, because you see that first time out as well. Showed pace, might be setting the way here in this spot. And right now, 6-1 on Fancy Case.
True. That horse might get brave on the front end. And here's the other thing about Fancy Case. At least ran at some big fields. This is a shorter field, only 8 horses, so might be able to get away with an easy lead.
It was backing away. Now the starting gate crew trying to help the 2 get into the gate here. But definitely would need to take a step forward in here. But, yeah, that one, at least there's something there that you can kind of grab hold of and say, well, facing easier for the first time, still relatively lightly raced.
It's just a question. I think you have to make a decision. For me, here's where I played it. I'm trying to get I keyed the 4 on top and tries, and I don't like Frosty Lynn's, the 6. So my play is to try to get the 1 into there somewhere, 1 and 7, mostly, 2nd and 3rd.
Let's send it upstairs. Nightcap here on Belmont Park Live. Take it away, Larry Colmus.
They're all in line. They're off. And it is just enough hope out for the lead. Frosty Lynn's, and between those two is I Admire You. These 3 with the most early speed. And then it's Fancy Case, followed by Molly's Lane, and a break of another 2.5 lengths back to Classic Lady, Crater Rim, and heavily favored Grand Banks will have to come from last here, racing 12 lengths off the lead as they head up the backstretch through an opening quarter mile in a very sharp 22.64 seconds. I Admire You, 5 in front at a really fast pace. Frosty Lynn's is second by 2.5. Just Enough Hope is third. And then it's Fancy Case in the scattered field about 11 lengths off the lead. Crater Rim, Molly's Lane next. And then comes Classic Lady, and Grand Banks is still last and still about 14 behind. But they went 45.86 for a half mile. I Admire You into the far turn. All done. Here comes Frosty Linz. Now moving up alongside and right on by, and the rest of the field is coming with Just Enough Hope third. Fancy Case is fourth. On the outside comes Crater Rim. And then comes Molly's Lane toward the inside. Classic Lady is next, and Grand Banks still at the back of the pack and down on the inside. It's going to need a way through here. Grand Banks coming through an opening on the inside, and there's plenty of room now if she's good enough. Into the final furlong, Frosty Linz. Grand Banks comes rushing up the rail, and Fancy Case is there too. And on the far outside comes Crater Rim. It is still Classic Lady trying to hold off Grand Banks. These two, Classic Lady's got her. Classic Lady's going to beat Grand Banks a half length on the wire. Tight for third there, Fancy Case or Crater Rim in 136.51.
Classic Lady, and that's why you try something new. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. And listen, Jose Ortiz wishes he had this ride back. I said it to you on the backside. When you are 1-5 and 3-5, you cannot take a horse on the turf inside. This is the worst move I've seen in a long time. He put this horse in a pickle, in a very, very bad pickle.
Let's give credit to the winner, Classic Lady.
No, I agree.
She obviously improved a lot on the grass. She's a completely different horse. Let's give David Cohen credit. He gave her an absolutely perfect ride and got the job done. Let's ask Jose Ortiz, did he look at the PPs and know he's riding? He's riding a horse that's 0 for 19. These are not the kind of horses that you want to make get brave slipping up the rail. These are the kind of horses that you want him out in the clear. What was he thinking coming up the inside?
I said it in the backside. I don't understand why he is going up the inside, because the worst thing you do is you're backing up at 3-5 shot. First of all, the horse is dead last. You don't want your 3-5 shot to be
Well, they were flying up front.
I get it, but still,
they were flying up
you
front.
got to take the overland route and hope that you're the best at 3-5. The horse completely switched leads to the wrong lead when he got to the inside, and then David did the right thing. He pinned the horse in the rail. That horse was never going by. I told you guys in the middle of the stretch, race is over, never going to go by. And 0 for 19 hasn't gone by before. It's not going to go by on the inside.
This is baffling. I mean, listen, the 4 is now 0 for 20, and I understand that as well. And the 9 clearly a much better horse on grass. But
it's going to be 0 for 21.
Yeah, well, she won't find an easier spot than this to win in. And you got to win when you're supposed to win. I'm not trying to blame Jose Ortiz, but it doesn't. It seemed like he rode the favorite like she was 12-1, and he need to have everything get lucky to win.
Let's take a look at the head-on here. And Jose, the white silks
watch
on the fence.
Yeah, watch her switch to a wrong lead when he hits her.
Why risk it?
When he hit her, she like sort of went to a wrong lead. And listen, she battles, she tries hard, but the 9 already got the jump on her, where on the backside, he could have circled his field and been by the 9.
I don't get it.
All right, David Cohen, Kelly Rubley, Classic Mile Park at 9-1 to close out this card. 3-5 favorite, defeated. Going into this card, everyone knew this is going to be the shortest price horse of the afternoon, and comes up short to a horse trying the turf for the very first time. We'll be back with more right after this.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Clairborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include 4-time graded stakes winner Miss Sky Warrior, 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, multiple stakes winner Bal Harbor, and Dubai Group 3 winner Shamal Nibras. Last year, his 2-year-old sold up to $540,000, while his yearlings fetched up to a whopping $575,000. First Samurai, standing at Clairborne Farm.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Naira Bets, racing's best play.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live. Always nice to be in the winner's circle, especially in the last with Classic Lady, David Cohen aboard. And Dave, this is a filly that you rode first time out and had said to Kelly Rubley, probably turf would be in her future.
No, you're exactly right. That was probably the first thing that I said to her was, let's run along on the turf. And obviously it worked out, so it was great.
And a great ride by you. Obviously they were flying up front, but you saved some ground and found a hole down the lane.
Yeah, that worked out for us. You know, first time I rode her, she really didn't show a lot early on, so I kind of didn't want to rush her into the race today. And it was nice to see a good little pace out there, so it helped set up, you know, them stopping up front, and she was really game coming through that inside hole like that, so it was nice to see with her.
Job well done to you and to the connections. You're a Classic Lady.
Very good, thank you.
All right, Greg.
David Cohen's having a nice meet.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. That was a good ride. Listen, he gave the horse a great ride. He saved a lot of ground. And listen, the first and second place finishers were last and second to last going into the turn. So congratulations to Classic Lady. Filly by Jimmy Creed out of the Eltish mare, El Tish Slew, Classic Mile Park. Congratulations to them. And that spiced up a chalky pick 5 that ended up $1,100 because of this little lady.
Right, you could have spread it in any of these races with savers, and that was the worst you could have used. Watching the replay, the 4 also had to stop and start a couple times, while the 9 kept her motion going forward the whole way.
I will give the 9 credit. She had her ears up in the end when she was going. Yeah, she enjoyed the turf, but tough beat if you had the 4. Robero 38. Oh, $1.75 winner.
Move at the end.
Well, they all had that 9 in the last race.
Can I get one of those hats, Wolfie?
I'll work on that. We need to hang out in that area.
I know, right?
I'm happy to. Be there tomorrow.
We're going to be back. We have more racing coming up tomorrow. We're going to have some special guests stopping by the set. And, of course, coming up this weekend, we have the Mother Goose. We also have the Queen's Plate, first leg of the Canadian Triple Crown. So looking forward to a big weekend coming up.
Yeah, it's an exciting weekend. And listen, the Queen's Plate is a great, spectacular race to bet on, and we'll be covering it and looking forward to it.
Lexingtonian, the first-timer for Todd Pletcher, the son of Speightstown. Kicked off the pick 4 with a win with John Velasquez in the irons. And in race 8, Gucci Factor for Christophe Clement. He's now won his last 2 on the turf. We will see you on Thursday at 4 Eastern.